Tariff uncertainty continues to influence pricing decisions in Canada, with costs going up across the board. And data from Statistics Canada suggests that won't be changing anytime soon. Tessa Bennett joins us in studio with more on this. Tessa, why are consumers bracing for higher prices?
Manisa, a survey of business conditions from the data agency indicates about 40% of Canada's companies plan to pass off tariff-related costs to their consumers in the coming months, leading to even higher prices on the shelves. Prime Minister Mark Carney continues to negotiate with his American counterpart to find a new trade deal that sees the removal of most tariffs currently imposed on Canada. But in the meantime, what does that mean for consumers? Prices have been creeping up across the board, from groceries to autos, and Canadian consumers are now being warned of more price changes. Statistics Canada released its survey of business conditions for the third quarter of 2025, and it revealed nearly 40% of businesses are likely to pass on cost increases caused by tariffs to their consumers over the next year.
Well, if you're a small retailer and you source from U.S. distributors, you're probably going to have to increase your prices somewhat significantly. Because your U.S. supplier is getting fairly large increases from places like China, Vietnam, etc. So that might look like low double-digit increases.
Tariffs have been dictating pricing decisions since the trade war began, but prior to this latest Statistics Canada survey, only about 25% of Canadian businesses reported passing cost increases on to their customers.
Having said that, both retailer and vendor work hard to look at the retail price point. They're not dumb. They realize that the consumer is very frugal right now. And if they just blindly increase the price across the board, consumers won't buy their merchandise.
The survey also shows that while the share of businesses expecting cost-related obstacles over the next 3 months dropped slightly, inflation remains a top concern. 45.2% of participants cited inflation as an expected challenge, with the biggest concern in food services, accommodations, and the retail sector. Despite the reality of having to pass tariff costs onto consumers, something that many businesses have tried to avoid, most that participated in the survey say they expect to continue operating despite the tariff uncertainty. And with the removal of certain retaliatory measures on American products, grocery prices may soon start to ease.
The good news for some categories, if you look at grocery and other areas, is the Canadian government has dialed back, has retreated from their counter tariffs. So if you look at someone like Loblaw, they had about 4,000 items in the store that were increased because of the tariffs.
As for whether the push to support Canadian-made products will continue in the face of businesses now passing costs on to consumers, retail analyst Bruce Winder says it depends on your income.
But where people can afford it, I think they're going to continue to buy Canadian. But if prices go up, even with Canadian companies, at some point, if you're economically challenged and you're, a consumer who has to really watch every cent, you may want to buy Canadian, but you might not be able to anymore.
Statistics Canada has also announced inflation across the country has increased year over year as of August, shortly before the Bank of Canada cut its key interest rate to stimulate the economy.